Hi, I'm Emily Stubler.
Hi, I'm Megan Schlaker.
So while we did our school walkabout and just looking at the classrooms, we noticed a lot of similarities and differences. So for how does an IB PYP school compare to your current site or past field sites? It shows how, at least I think, it allows parents, anyone that comes to school, be able to see what's going on, having ask the children or just ask the teacher. It's nice that they can just go into a school and know right then and there what their focus is on.
Is that different from your past field site?
Yeah, because the only thing someone could see if they walked in was if there's something posted outside of the classroom door.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't really tell you as much in depth of what really happened. It just shows you maybe an achievement or what they just finished. But it's nice how in an IB PYP school you're able to see what's gonna happen next, what happened last, what's gonna happen
that is cool.
right now, which I kind of like.
Yeah, I would say the same for me. The preschool I was at, which we've only been in preschool before this, and we're in the same field site now. They didn't do any units that were posted and you couldn't see what your kids were doing. It was all just theme based, based on the month, and we had bulletin boards, so that kind of showed what we were doing. But it was preschool, so it was just activities. It wasn't learning they do in elementary school.
But the way it does compare is that it does still have that inquiry component to it. In preschool, if a child was interested in a certain subject, then that's what we would talk about, which I do still is a little bit. No? Oh, okay. Because in my preschool, if a child we talked about if we heard through play if dinosaurs or firefighters were a common theme, we'd all come together to see which one we talk about next,
cool.
which is kind of that IB figuring out.
Yeah.
Getting a unit of
totally
it starts with inquiry. Yeah.
Mine was very teacher centered. Listen to what I'm saying. Your questions are kind of irrelevant. For your thoughts.
Oh.
But also, I think it's cool that they teach language.
Yeah.
In this school.
Yeah,
I don't think they would do that in preschool, but even in my elementary school, that wasn't.
Yeah, that's definitely
language.
That's definitely a strength and benefit. I mean, when I came in to see the French class being taught, I was blown away by how well the students knew French.
I know, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I knew all the colors and everything. I don't even know.
I just know, I just know it's really good for children's development mentally. So I think that's just really great. I think that's such a strong benefit for a PYP school.
That goes into the next question.
Yeah.
That's strength and benefit. The language.
So what do you think was a strength and benefit?
I definitely think the units of inquiry are really cool. I haven't really seen a lot of action within my site. I don't know if
it seems really limited.
Yeah, it seems limited, but what we've read, it's so cool to me. I love the idea that students are almost equal to the teacher, and they can foster this entire I don't even know, investigation into some question that they're thinking about based on the overall unit.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
I mean, I think that's kind of the overall that's what I think. I think that's the number one strength and benefit of PYP school does is the whole inquiry component.
Definitely.
Because it's nice that the children are able to have a voice, they're able to be their questions and answers, ideas, thoughts are finally being valued, and they're seen as meaningful, which I think needs to be done more.
Definitely, I agree.
For children.
And I also really like the global connection and global view of an IB school, how it's all related to how we can help the earth and better humanity. I just think it's really cool that young kids are being taught to think like that. When I was younger, it wasn't. We just thought about ourselves and our town. We never thought about the world.
You always hear the saying think outside the box. So children are finally thinking outside of their home, outside of their own little box, which I think is so. I think that's amazing. Is that they're able.
Such a good brain stimulation.
And I think it helps them build character and democracy too.
Definitely.
Is able to think about them, but then also thinking about other people across the world that may live in completely different lifestyles, celebrate different traditions, and have different cultures. I think that's what's really amazing about it.
The homes unit we're doing.
Yeah,
right now.
the homes.
They get to see where all these other people live.
Yeah, and they're understanding how different and maybe how privileged they are.
Definitely.
And then seeing how maybe other people are privileged. But it's like, I think it's really cool.
It is really cool. So some challenges that you think the teachers and children might face in a PYP school? What do you think?
Well, I think you're going to agree with me, but I think it's hard for teachers to step back and go and go into a new way than the traditional way. I mean, I think it's really easy we see the movies and TV shows. I think we've played it when we were children to kind of be a traditional teacher.
Totally.
I think it's kind of hard to okay, well, yes, we're the teacher, but that doesn't mean that we're an authoritative figure. I think it needs to be a collaborative approach.
Yeah.
And I think that's hard because we're older, but we need to see the children as the same height as us, as equal. Yeah.
I've definitely noticed with my mentor teacher, she's still which isn't a bad thing. She's still stuck in the normal teaching routine, but I think she's been teaching for 30 years, I think, 30 plus years. So it's she's so stuck in her routine. Being thrown into IB is challenging, and she has to rethink how she teaches, which is just crazy.
Which is sad because your teacher's been teaching a long time. My mentor teacher's only been in education for 6 years, and I can see her going into the traditional approach, which I'm trying to oh no, come back to the good side.
Do you think she does more?
She definitely tries. She definitely tries. She tries to be an IB teacher, but I think she definitely. We're not perfect. I think there's just some things that goes behind. But then with that, because of that, children, their challenges too in a PYP school it's so different from what they're used to. And that's hard because children don't really like change. I don't like change. So that can be really hard. And especially to get used to it. We want you to speak up. We want you to provide feedback.
Totally. From a young age, they're always told, be quiet, sit down. That's,
and
how they live their life. And now they're no, stand up. Tell us stuff. Ask questions,
and,
please.
An assessment doesn't have to be, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It could be so many creative ways. And
it's really awesome.
Yeah. Which kind of goes into, what could the advantages be? It's kind of everything we just said. It allows for the inquiry to come in.
Totally. And I love the idea that you can teach all over the world in an IB school once you're certified. I think that's really cool. And again, with the global thing, you get to learn so much about different cultures.
It provides a lot of opportunities.
People. Yeah. It really does.
That's
limitless.
Kind of hands down. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That was good. I think that was good. I'm good.
It was fine.